Rocket League is a global esport. We started out international, but with the addition of MENA, APAC, and SSA in that 21-22 season post-pandemic, we've seen us go fully global, baby. And today was a great reminder of that as we saw the number one seeds from the MENA and SAM regions in Furia and Team Falcons go 2-0 on day one of Swiss to start off Major 1 for this season. APAC, SSA, and OCE, I guess we'll loop them in as well, have always crept to the back of the pack, let's say. OCE's been around for a really long time. They've had some good teams, but when we're thinking about who can genuinely contend here, outside of one-offs like Power, really I would say those three regions are clumped together when we compare them to the other four. It's always been one of those cases, especially for SSA and APAC, where they're seen as warm-up games or stepping stones for the contending regions, as it were. And given their geographical restrictions and the general lack of talent, let's call it, it's likely that this is going to stay this way for the foreseeable future. But that doesn't mean that these regions haven't created some of the best storylines at our LAN events. I'm thinking about Commutator, I'm thinking about Realize. Those kind of dudes paved the way for the player we are on board with today, which is the youngest player that the RLCS has ever seen compete at international competitions in the 15-year-old Malaysian player Sphinx. Sphinx is playing out of APAC, representing Team Elevate, and Sphinx is one of those players that a lot of people were kind of interested in, just given the variables at play with him being so young, with this team not really being one that a lot of people thought that we would see at this event. It was kind of just a foregone conclusion at the beginning of the season that we'd have Gaming Gladiators. That's Virtuoso's team. But we got Elevate instead. LCT, longtime LAN player representing this region. Kevin, who I haven't seen too much of, but for all intents and purposes seems to be hilarious as far as the community thinks. And, Sphinx has his own claims on the hilarity as well. I strongly recommend going and watching the official broadcast replay of this game if you have the time, because in the face cams you can see that they are just cracking up the whole time. But Sphinx is more than young, he's more than funny. He's actually, he can ball for real. It's definitely not one of those situations where I anticipate this team making a deep run in the tournament by any means, but I don't think anybody would anticipate that irregardless. No, the reason that we're on with Sphinx is, to kind of not only spotlight a young player who is just really exciting off the pitch as he tries to get a big flick there as they go down 2-0 here to Rule 1, but JamesBot put out an interview with this team before the event started, and Sphinx just being candid in, a kind of human element of this esport, which is he kind of was just playing this game for fun. He said something along the lines of, "I can't believe a game that I was just playing at my house has led me to this hotel." Like just the baffling nature of just enjoying a game for fun, and then all of a sudden you're competing at the biggest stage. I think it's exciting no matter what the sport, esport or traditional sport. And beyond that, this team has been a lot of fun to watch as we see them tie things up against Rule 1 here. And we're going to talk about this game in a second, because if you haven't seen, this is Game 3 against Rule 1 in the second round, and you're in for a treat if this is your first time seeing it. But I think it's really cool that we're starting to see, it's like I said, long ways on the double demo here as they're going to go up on Roll 1. Long ways from these regions genuinely competing with the top brass, but to see young talent like this, just in the continued push from people in these regions, I think of people like Graybeard, who has been a massive supporter of SSA. The fact that we still have so much excitement and a niche cult-like fandom, cult in the sense of like a cult classic around these regions is just really exciting to see, and a good reminder of some of the joy that this esport can bring. And thinking long term, of course, we saw some tapering back on the skill and paid talent and things of that nature, and the size and scale of the scene. Clearly, it's the top of the people who run the RLCS were doing a little tightening of the belt as Sphinx is going to land his 49th demo of the game, seemingly. I think long term, the esport can continue to develop, and having regions like this that at a certain point a couple of years ago was just a complete wash. It was not even worth watching for them to now be contending against, not top talent. It's not like this is Carmine Core on the other end, but this is a team that has some real talent on it, representing a big region. So for them to be able to take a game off of Roll One, as funny or whatever as it can be, the style in which they've done it, putting up this many goals on a good team like this, as we're going to see Sphinx get the 6th here, is momentum over the long term. I think it's exciting that we have APAC and SSA, at least within the same ballpark as our big boys. So I highly recommend following along with this team if you have not already. Tomorrow they are in the 0-2 round, so we're going to see if they can continue to pull it off and surprise people. Even if they don't win another game, Elevate have won my heart. So what do you guys think about the regions and what we should expect for them moving forward? How do you feel about Elevate and Sphinx's performance today? Let me know in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Majors here. How exciting is that? Until next time, take it easy.